Welcome to chapter 29 of the book of 1 Samuel. David has went into Philistia, tied in with the ruler of Achish, the ruler of the city of Gath, and surreptitiously, that's a hard one to get out, he is going down and attacking the Philistines, the southern part, but yet the Philistines, Achish doesn't know that. He's thinking that David is attacking the cities in Judah. This now is where we continue as the Philistines are going to prepare for war against Israel. And what is David going to do about it? And the Philistines gathered all their camps unto Aphek, and Israel camped in Endor in Jezreel. And the satraps, the rulers of the Philistines, came by hundreds and thousands. And David and his men came near at the last with Achish. So they're all coming together to go to war against Saul and Israel. But David is on the other side. And the satraps of the Philistines said, well, who are these traveling with you, basically? And Achish said to the satraps of the Philistines, well, is this not David? He was the bondman of Saul, king of Israel, who's been with me some days of this second year, and I've not found in him any fault, from which days he fell in with me until to this day. Well, he didn't see him because he didn't know. There was a big fault. And the satraps of the Philistines were enraged over him. They could see through it. And they say to him, return the man, and let him return into his place. I had people, and it's wrong, topo in his place, of which you placed him there. Ziglag, basically. And do not let him come with us to the battle. And let him not become a plotter in the camp. So they know that, because they know who he is. And how shall he be reconciled to his master? Will it not be with the heads of those our men? By telling Saul what's going on. Is this not David, whom they led in dances, saying, Saul struck his thousands and David his 10,000s? Well, those were Philistines, basically. Not all of them, but quite a few. And Achish called David and said to him, well, as the Lord lives, know that you're upright and good in my eyes. Interesting how he uses kurios. And so is your exiting and your entering with me in the camp. Everything's good with me. For I did not find against you an evil from which day you came to me until this day. And still hasn't found anything. But in the eyes, the ophthalmes of the satraps, you are not good. Now return and go in peace. Then in no way shall you do evil in the eyes of the satraps of the Philistines. And David said to Achish, what have I done to you? And what did you find in your bondman from which day I was before you and until this day, that in no way I should come to wage war against the enemies of my master, the king? Well, this is a lie. And I find it very interesting. It's basically the subject is allegiance. Now, the Jews at the time, the sons of Israel, their allegiance was to be towards God, Jehovah, Kyrios, and Israel, not to anybody else or to destroy these other nations of Canaan. But David has gone and joined up with them surreptitiously, and I look at that and I question about, well, now, what about today? Israel is another nation, again, and it has Jews throughout the world. And these Jews, who is their allegiance to? Now, I'm not talking about Messianic Christians, I'm talking about Jewish people. And now that Israel has become a nation, all of a sudden, where did he get all this money to develop itself into such a world power militarily and so forth? It's a question that I question. Well, there are a few people in my lifetime recently that are interesting. That one of them was his name was Ian Robert Maxwell. He was a member of Parliament, but his birth name was John Ludwig Hyman Benjamin Hook. He was Jewish, and he did a lot of things that were crooked, and he had a tremendous empire of newspapers and so forth in the last century, end of the last century, and he ended up taking a lot of money from people in their retirement funds, and you question, well, where did all this money go? Well, when he died, he was buried in Jerusalem, and you can read all about this Robert Maxwell in Wikipedia and come up with your own conclusions with it. Right now, his daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, is in jail in New York City, being a pimp, more or less, for, what's his name, Epstein, and with pornography and child abuse, all sorts of things. But that has neither here nor there, basically. But also in my lifetime, there was a man called Bernie Madoff. And Bernie Madoff also did the same thing pretty much as Robert Maxwell. Took all these investments from all kinds of people. A lot of the people were Jewish. And where did the money go? Well, they know a lot of it did go to Israel. So, I'm thinking, I don't know, but I'm thinking, well, if I was for Israel, I was Jewish, and I wanted to send money to Israel, how could I do it best? If I had a lot of money, well, put it in the hands of somebody that could get it to Israel, and then claim it was a fraud, and I can write the whole thing off on my taxes. So I can do a few things like that. Now, I'm not saying this people did do or they didn't do that. I'm just thinking this is a possibility in my mind. If I was Jewish and I wanted to help the Jewish state, which I can understand a Jew wanting to do that. But then we get into allegiance. Who are you allied to? So today with the Jew in Israel, and they live in the United States and other countries, but are they really allied to these countries? Or are they like David with Achish in the Philistines, where he's going there, but he's actually doing the opposite? Now, I'm just questioning this. I'm not accusing anybody of doing it. It's just right here in the Bible. I'm thinking, well, why not today? And as Christians, though, before I get to the Christians, but in other places where people have made allegiance to was the SS of Adolf Hitler. The German army was called the Wehrmacht, but the chosen men that were to go out and cause the Holocaust and do all sorts of terrible things were called the SS. And they actually gave allegiance to Adolf Hitler, not to Germany. So there is an allegiance there that was really on the bad side. Now, as a Christian, I live in the United States of America, but I could live any place in the world. And now, the country that I'm living in, if it's a good country, then I would support it and do the best I can. If it was a terrible country, then I would pray for it, that God would do something for this country that is wayward. But my allegiance is to Jesus Christ. I can be anywhere in any country, almost deal with anything. If being persecuted, then so be it. I can live and persecuted. I can still love the Lord, read the Bible, and so forth. And if I'm living in a free country, and I can do the same thing there. I don't have to have an allegiance to a country, but I do have to have allegiance to Jesus Christ, and he warns us about the world and the world situation and everything. And I look at the world as a mess today, and it's all shut down because of the coronavirus and other things on the horizon that I see. So, but I'm not tied into China. I'm not Chinese. I'm not tied into Ecuador. I don't live down there. I could move to those countries, and then would I be tied to them, or would I be tied to the United States? Well, I'm tied to Jesus Christ. And I can go anywhere, more or less like David. He went there, but instead of using the country, I don't believe I should do that. I don't think God wants me to go there to use the country in a way that's harmful. Go there and do the best I can and pray for it. So I just thought I'd bring this up because I thought it was an interesting thing here with David and Achish and the Philistines. And so David's more or less saying, what have I done to you? Well, he did a lot to him, but he's just using this whole thing. He's playing Achish. And I wonder sometimes how much we are being played. And Achish answered and said to David, I know that you're good in my eyes and as an angel or a messenger of God. But the satraps of the Philistines say, he shall not come with us to war. And now, rise early in the morning, you and your servants, the servants of your master, having come with you, and go to the place where I placed you there, the Ziklag. And you rise early in the journey, and when it gives light, then gives light to you, then go. And David rose early, he and his men, to go forth in the morning and to guard the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines ascended to wage war against Israel. So now David is going back to Ziklag, but things don't turn out very well. For David, he's been marauding, but it comes back on him, and we'll find out what happens with David in the marauding in chapter 30. Hope you'll join us. Continue with 1 Samuel. Till then, next time, God bless.